To this day, CatDog has got to be one of the most bizarre shows I've ever seen, and I used to watch it back when it first aired in 1998. There weren't many shows back then that made me shoot milk out from my nose because I was laughing so hard while being grossed out, but this was one of them. Sometimes, though, the show's imagery would be so horrifying that it almost made me turn off the TV. Do you remember the episode of CatDog titled Teeth for Two? Yeah, that episode definitely shouldn't have aired on a channel that was meant for children. Teeth for Two started out as a dental nightmare and quickly became something that could easily haunt your dreams. You've been warned. This episode in particular has become known among fans for its graphic imagery, and due to the fact that it was mostly tooth-based scenes, it was even harder to rewatch as an adult. Fun fact, almost 36% of people in the United States have a fear of dental treatment in general, which means that an episode based around a dentist is already fear fuel for some people. But CatDog decided to take it a step further and added the fear of dental pain, accompanied by horrifying dental images, which is partially why this episode struck such a harsh chord with some viewers. Now, in Teeth for Two, the episode opened by showing CatDog as they sat in the waiting room of the Nearburgh Dental Center. I don't know about you, but even as an adult, I hate the dentist, so as a kid, I definitely sympathized with Dog, who clearly did not want to be there. As CatDog waited for their checkup, Cat decided to scare Dog even more. He began to describe the possible operation that Dr. Rancid, the town's dentist, would perform on his mouth. As you may know, Dog wasn't the healthiest character. Oftentimes, he would be shown eating literal garbage, which is why Cat assumed that his teeth would be in such bad shape. Meanwhile, Cat took care of his own teeth, so he expected to be in and out of his checkup with no operation necessary. Boy, was he wrong. After a moment, the episode continued by showing Dr. Rancid's current patient, Mr. Sunshine, leaving the dentist's office in what appeared to be excruciating pain. Now, if I were CatDog, I would have sprinted out of that office and not looked back. But Cat was confident, and when they were called into the room, he did not hesitate. He was even forced to drag Dog in. The funny thing is that when they were in the actual dentist chair and Cat noticed all of the equipment hanging from the ceiling, he got just as scared as Dog, and they both made a run for it. It was too late though. Before they could make it out of the room, the door closed and bounced them back into the chair. Dr. Rancid approached and began examining their mouths, starting with Dog. Now, I think everyone watching was just as surprised as Dr. Rancid and Cat were when he discovered that Dog's teeth were nearly perfect. Cat's mouth, on the other hand, had quite a few problems, including tooth decay. This confused the dentist, who was then shown pulling out an X-ray machine specifically made for CatDog. After putting the pair through the X-ray machine, he realized something super twisted. According to Dr. Rancid, anything that Dog ate and did to his teeth would actually affect Cat's mouth instead, and vice versa. This means all of the junk that Dog was eating was destroying Cat's mouth, and all of the time that Cat wasted taking care of his own teeth was actually protecting Dog's. Then, Dr. Rancid said something that would scare any patient. He tells CatDog that the only way to control the condition would be to perform a presumably painful surgery, but that he would only do it if Dog agreed to change his diet. That seems like a simple request, right? Well, it turns out that a simple solution would be harder than it seemed for Dog, which leads to some pretty terrifying imagery. After receiving the bad news from Dr. Rancid, the episode continued by showing CatDog walking back to their house with Cat warning Dog not to eat any garbage or junk because neither of them want to go back to that horrible place. As I said, that's not really that big of a thing to ask someone who controls the quality of your mouth based on what they eat, and surprisingly, Dog agreed to Cat's request. That being said, right after he agreed, he ate a screw that then popped out of Cat's mouth. Yuck. Back at their house, Cat was trying everything that he could think of to get Dog on a healthier diet. He even decided to make a nice salad for the pair to eat during dinner. Now the issue here is that Dog was basically me as a child. So when he took one bite of the salad, he couldn't stand the taste and slyly threw it out under the table. While he was under the table though, he made the mistake of pulling out a lollipop that he had stashed there and ate that instead, hoping that Cat wouldn't find out. Can you guess where this was heading? You've heard of War of the Worlds. Well, Cat and Dog quickly found themselves in a War of the Mouths, which turned out to be a losing battle for both parties involved. In Teeth for Two, after Dog spat out the salad and tried to secretly eat a lollipop, Cat's mouth started hurting. He knew right away what was going on under the dinner table, and because he was in so much pain, he decided to retaliate. Cat quickly grabbed some ice, which he figured would hurt Dog's mouth, but it didn't have much of an effect. Dog responded by chewing on some aluminum foil, which honestly, the thought of it was hurting my mouth. The episode was getting more and more brutal by the minute, and as Cat was in excruciating pain, he inevitably called a truce. Dog accepted the truce, but I don't think he was prepared for Cat's trickery. That's right, Cat may have called the truce, but he wasn't done trying to figure out how to make Dog better so that he could have a healthier mouth. After the truce, Cat quickly made a cake that was supposed to be a gift for Dog, but in reality, it was just a cake of lies. While Cat told Dog that the cake was made out of gristle, bone, and lots of sugar, the cake was actually made out of dental floss, pure fluoride, and a toothpaste frosting. It probably tasted like a mint ice cream cake gone wrong, but Dog didn't see anything wrong with it at first. That is, until the cake started to instantly repair Cat's teeth. Now, you would think that this would be a good thing, and as Cat's brother, Dog would want to help him not be in pain. However, after realizing he had been tricked, Dog retaliated once again. Only this time, instead of making Cat's teeth worse, he shoved that toothpaste cake into Cat's mouth, making Dog's teeth even nicer. Later that night, the show took horrifying to a whole new level. As Dog was sleeping, Cat was wide awake due to his severe mouth pain. This prompted him to once again try and clean Dog's mouth, only in a super unconventional way. In one of the most disgusting scenes I've ever watched in a cartoon, Cat climbed through his own body and popped out of Dog's mouth. Only what popped out wasn't exactly Cat. It was more of a throbbing, fleshy blob that was in the shape of Cat. Even thinking about it was enough to give you nightmares, let alone watching it on TV as a kid. The flesh monster version of Cat began cleaning Dog's teeth from inside of his mouth. But it wasn't long before Dog woke up and resorted to swallowing Cat and forcing him back out the other end of their shared body. God, the show was wild. After that, the war continued and they basically destroyed each other's mouths, to the point where they hardly had any teeth left, and the ones that remained were all brown and rotted. As both Cat and Dog lay across from each other in pain, do you think either of them truly felt bad for what they had done? Well, according to the episode, the amount of pain they were in was enough to make both of them apologetic, and, for better or worse, they were finally ready for their dental procedure. The morning after the pair apologized to each other, they managed to walk themselves back to Dr. Rancid's dental office and get ready for the surgery. Oh yeah, did I mention that the surgery was supposedly so expensive that it was going to be able to pay off the next 10 payments of Dr. Rancid's new speedboat? That's how serious the damage to Cat and Dog's teeth was. Now, I don't know what's scarier, that horrific image of Cat coming out of Dog's mouth, or the way that Dr. Rancid described the procedure he was about to perform. According to him, he was going to eliminate everything in CatDog's mouth down to the gum, which means grinding and pulling the teeth that were left. Then, he was going to totally rebuild their teeth from the bottom up. Now, this is a sort of something that a real dentist will do if someone's mouth is damaged enough, but it still seems super extensive and painful. If I were CatDog, I would have been terrified, and I'm sure they were. This time, though, they wouldn't be able to just walk out of the dentist's office, because right after he explained the procedure, Dr. Rancid gave them nitrous oxide and prepared them for the operation. What's really cool, though, is that by the time the procedure was over, CatDog woke up and each of them had a full set of beautiful teeth. Sadly, that wasn't the end of their problems. It turned out that from their food war, they developed some pretty severe skin allergies, which Dr. Rancid seemed excited about. Apparently, he also doubled as a dermatologist and knew the perfect and pain-filled procedure to fix them. Now, there is no doubt that this was one of the craziest episodes of the show, but I don't know if that excuses how scary some of the images were. What do you think, though? Is the flesh monster version of Cat enough for this to be considered one of the scariest episodes of the show? Or can you think of something worse from CatDog? Be sure to let me know in the comments below.